I spent hours researching how people like Ali Abdaal, Beverley, Matt Gray, Leila Hormozi, and Mel Robbins approach their year planning. If you're watching this, chances are you're feeling a little bit stuck right now. Maybe you're not sure what you actually want from this year, or you keep setting goals that never seem to stick. Statistically, 29% of people have already ditched their New Year's resolutions, but you can get back on track and make this your best year yet. Here is what I found and the 5 steps I followed when planning my 2026. The first thing that everyone seems to agree on is that you need to look back and reflect before you can plan to move forwards. I know it sounds obvious, but when was the last time you actually sat down and thought deeply about your year? Not just the highlights, but the real stuff. The way that I do this is pretty simple. I just go through my year month by month and write down what happened. I'll open my calendar and scroll through my camera roll, and all of a sudden I remember, oh yeah, that's what I did in March. Next, we're going to take inspiration from Mel Robbins and answer these 3 questions. What were your low points? What were your high points? And what have you learned? This really helps you think deeper about your year, not just what happened, but actually what you truly took away from it, what you learned, how you grew, what you want to repeat, and maybe what you don't. This year, I've added an extra step from Matt Gray. He does an energy audit. So he'll look back on his year and think, what gave me energy this year versus what drained me? Because here's what I've realized. When you're feeling stuck, it's oftentimes when you're spending too much time on the things that drain you and not enough time on the things that light you up. And you can't change if you don't know what those things are. I also like to get honest with myself about how I spent my time and do a time audit. Did I actually spend time working on things that I said mattered to me? So add in these 2 extra questions. What did you actually spend your time on, and how did this align with your priorities? And when did you feel most alive versus when did you feel drained? Okay, so now we get to the planning part. And I know that goal setting can feel overwhelming, especially if you're not 100% sure on what you want. So let's start by following Beverley's advice and break it down into 6 areas. Her areas are health, career and business, relationships, personal development, finances, attitude and mindset. Here's what you do. Brain dump anything you might want in each area. Don't judge it if it's not realistic, just write it down. Then pick 1 non-negotiable for each area of your life. This is the top 1 thing that really matters to you, because you can't do everything. And speaking from experience, trying to do everything at once is why nothing gets done. Ali Abdaal takes it even further. For each of these goals, he sets a why and a how. The why explains why this actually matters to you. It's not, I want to get fit. It's I want to feel strong and confident in my body and be able to lift and carry shopping and groceries with ease. I think this step was inspired by Simon Sinek's Start With Why philosophy, as it gives you that sense of purpose when motivation starts to fade in February. And then the how is your plan. So what are 3 to 5 things that you need to do to make this happen? Break this plan down into weekly or daily actions that you can track to keep yourself accountable. As Leila Hormozi says, you've got to build the systems and track your progress to ensure success. This is how a goal becomes something real instead of just a wish. So let's be real about this year. You're not going to wake up on January the 1st as a completely different person. It would be nice, but you'll probably still have the same habits, the same patterns, and the tendency to put things off or say yes when you really mean no. So if you want things to be different, you need to get specific about 3 things. What are you going to stop doing? What are you going to start doing? And what are you going to continue doing? Mel Robbins and Matt Gray both talk about this. You need to build a bridge from who you were in 2025 to who you want to be in 2026 in order to achieve your goals. And that bridge is made up of lots of little choices. Habits like stop saying yes to plans that drain you, or start going to bed before 10 p.m, or continue going to the gym and eating healthily. One of my favourite things to do in the new year is to create a vision board and then set it as my phone wallpaper. Now I know vision boards can sometimes seem a bit woo-woo, but hear me out. I love the way that Beverley approaches this. She splits her board into 3 sections: who I want to be, how I want to live, and what I want to do. What I love about this is it's not just pictures of holidays and apps. It's about your actual life. Like, who do you want to be around your colleagues, your friends and family? And how do you want your normal days to feel? Because if your vision is only highlight reels, you'll feel like you're failing every single regular day. And the majority of your life is made up of these regular days. So here's how I would approach making this vision board. First, grab a pen and paper and split the paper into 3 sections. Just write down whatever comes to mind for each of these questions. Don't overthink it. Then go to Pinterest, Google, or Instagram and save some images that align with your notes. Not just aesthetic pictures, things that actually represent how you want to feel, live, and act. Then use Canva, PowerPoint, or Pinterest to create your vision board, or print stuff out and stick it on some card. Put the finished product somewhere prominent where you'll see it multiple times a day. Your phone wallpaper, your bathroom mirror, by your bed, or as your desktop home screen. The more often you see this inspiration, the closer that vision of your life will feel. The point isn't to make something super beautiful and aesthetic. It's to remind yourself of what you're working towards every single day so you can take the right actions. Let's talk about why most New Year's goals never work out. Because if we know why people fail, we can plan for it and avoid it. Problem number 1. You start strong in January, but by February, you've completely stopped. This is because you're running on motivation, and that initial boost of energy eventually runs out. And problem number 2, you think you have all year, so you keep pushing things back. I'll start in March, maybe after my birthday, definitely after summer. And then it's December and you haven't started making progress. So here's how you fix the first problem. You build systems and not just goals. A system makes it as easy as possible for you to do the thing in the future. Because as Leila says, in the future you will be tired, you will be busy, and you won't feel like it. So how can you reduce the friction? You need 3 things. First is a trigger, something that reminds you. This could be a sticky note on your door, an alarm, or an event scheduled into your calendar. Number 2 is a process, so the steps you will actually follow. Make these as simple and intuitive as possible. For example, cook dinner, wash up, prepare breakfast for the next morning, lay gym clothes out, pack workwear. I find that whilst I have the momentum for doing one task, it's much easier to stack other habits on top of it. And the third piece is a way to track your progress. This could be recording your progress on a calendar, setting weekly reminders, or logging your food in and out at mealtimes. For problem number 2, Ali Abdaal's approach really helps. What can you do in the next 90 days to move you forwards? There's something about that time frame that makes it feel real. It's close enough that you can't keep putting it off, but it's long enough that you can actually see real progress being made. Instead of by the end of 2026, it's by the end of March. All of a sudden, this feels so much closer and more urgent. Planning for the year ahead helps you take conscious control of the life that you want to live. And it's okay if these plans shift and move as you make progress or as your priorities change. But if you take the time to think about what you actually want, build the systems to support yourself, and check in along the way, you'll probably end up somewhere better than you'd even dreamt of. I truly hope that 2026 is your best year yet. If you're still stuck in decision paralysis, I made another video about 2 types of choices and how to move from thinking to doing. See you soon.